Incremental Science. What's up, y'all? What's going on? Incremental Science 29. 2-9. The big 2-9 equals 11. We walking through them doors, yo. We walking through them doors. Incremental Science 29. How's everybody doing today? How's your life treating you? How's everything been going on? I haven't seen you. Been putting in this work. And if you ain't on the Incremental Science, you should be meditating on my live stream that I have playing for you in the background. We acting stupid, yo. All right, look, we about to get into it. It's going to be a deep one. All right, so let's cook. Incremental Science 29. We've been talking about the shadow aspect. We've been talking about the wisdom, the connection in between the two. We've been talking about the understanding of a universe being within the shadow and you coming from the light aspect of an old process. So this is the diagram. So, I didn't do no PowerPoints because I wanted to do some artistic value for you. I wanted to show y'all something that looked nice. So as we can see, I gave you like a reflection aspect, but kind of turned this way. Instead of reflecting like a normal reflection, I gave you the reflection of the universe. So as his shadow is reflecting down, he's meditating, you see the sun coming down, but there's a line of symmetry in between that connection to the universe because it wraps around. It keeps wrapping around. This is the yin yang, this is the 6-9. I heard some idiot, excuse me, I don't want to, talk about people, talking about the two hemispheres earlier and talking about some CIA papers or whatnot. And he was thinking he was explaining it right. It was funny to me because I knew he wasn't explaining it right. You know what I mean? Like, they don't understand, so I know he don't understand because he was like, to me, that means, he's like, it means to me that this side is this brain and this brain and, there one works on the art and the analytical and I'm like, yeah, that's what everybody believe, yo. Everybody in the universe believe this. Even the CIA people, whoever you talking about, everybody believe that. But I'm hood. I'm about to show y'all something different. All right, look. We talk about the left and the right hemispheric brains. We talk about the light and the darkness. We talk about, the shadow and the real body. To my in yourself, out yourself, and all that. Why are these things important? Why are they counterparts? And before I even get into the real point, I'm gonna stay away from that for a minute, but my mind is all over the place. So let me just attack this one at a time, one piece at a time. All right, so understanding that the two hemispheres of the brain is retrospect to the idea of everything that's labeled behind a point of energy that does not change. Divine's energy that goes everlasting, non-stop forever, it does not change. It's a point of energy that never changes. So the way it formulates itself through existences, through dimensions, it stays the same way. Now, if I'm speaking towards a quality of sexuality, it doesn't work for universal principle. It explains sexuality to us is a diluted version of universal principle. This is why our culture, Grecians, Neters, Nagas, Egyptians, Kushites, anybody from original pretense back in the day, we had a respect. This is why you had obelisk and stuff like that around. It was a respect for the sexuality aspect. It's because of what the light does and what the womb does. These two things is not a form of sex. It's when it starts to get diluted down to the value of physical attributes, when we start to interpret these things as physical attributes. Light extends. So since light extends, ultimately, it's a male part. That doesn't mean it's male. It's a male understanding. It's the male explanation. It's the reason why we formulate into male in the physical. The female attribute, the womb, she absorbs everything, all the light. It goes in her. You see why that's a her? Because it goes in her. If I had a plug and I had if I had a plug in the socket, the plug would be the male part and the socket would be the female part. because one goes in the other. Light extends. So if light ran past a black hole, it would disappear because it goes in it. That has nothing to do with sexuality. All right? So when we're speaking on the two hemispheres of the brain, the reason why the analytical side transmute the understanding for the right side, because one is a male side and one is a female side. It's not because it will. It's just because what it is. And depending on how you come into this world as a man or a woman, if you come as a man, your idea is to understand the female principle, not be it, because you're the man energy. You're the extending solar energy. That means you will replicate that understanding in the next dimension. Your energy is still extending out because divine goes forever. But through the womb is where you will come out into a new universe, into a new time, into a new space. Okay, this is why this is weird to people. Like, this is why they don't understand it. Like, you want it to be left hemispheric, right hemispheric. You want it to be like that. That doesn't even exist. Those are terms that we created. That's not even a logical understanding to universal principle. And universal principle dilutes down to an understanding to where we can finitely use it. This is the difference when it comes to understanding the universal principle and what the hell y'all think y'all be talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to explain something so bad, but you can't explain it because you yet to understand the feminine properties and the male properties. You want it to all be sexual. You want it to all be, because this is masculine. God has nothing to do with the feminine aspect or the male property. When he created, listen, when divine created his first creation, I've said this in a lot of my bills, the aspect of Pisces, he created a womb. A womb. Boom, like that. It came into the universe, a womb. See the hole? See the hole in between the two holes? The womb. That's like two thighs and the noonie. That's why the woman was made like that. Two thighs and a noonie, just like the aspect of Pisces. You know why that was created right there? Because that's where all the creation aspect will go. That's where all the knowledge of the divine was placed. Why? Because all his creations will transmute through there. Not, I put this in here for you to have this knowledge and go out here and do godly work. No, that's not what it was. He put all the knowledge into the black womb so it would recognize all his creations. Naga. I don't be understanding, yo. So I'm trying to tell y'all something. So then it was so vast. It was so much. The first creation had to stabilize it because it was going everywhere. Had to create a sun. Had to create a sun to balance out that energy. Facts. Thus, the yin-yang properties was created. This is all happening in divinity. It's not like God is saying, I'm going to create this, I'm going to create that. As the power of divinity extends through the first creation, it was remnant of the Father. You want to call the Father, the only reason why it became a father because he extended. So then he needed something to receive it. So created a woman. So then therefore she created a son. And then he it just kept going and kept going. This is energy. It had nothing to do with principle. We put terms on things like, mother, father, son. That has nothing to do with it. The only one that held jurisdiction to the attribute was the sun. Because the sun in the sky, star, sun, S-O-N, all this craziness, ain't got nothing to do with nothing. None of that has nothing to do with anything. The point, though, the womb creating the star, which is really divine energy and composite, a whole composite of divine energy that people are trying to measure off of what it gives off. You'll never know what's really inside of the sun because what it gives off is what it burns off. So that means it's a chemical action that burns it off. Unless you get a piece of the sun from the surface, you'll never know what's inside of there. Never. 500 feet from the surface, the chemical makeup of the sun starts to change because it's so hot, it's burning everything that comes off it. 1,000 feet above that, you're not getting anything from the sun. By the time it reaches the top of the sun, what we call light, it's helium and all that other stuff. That's the real understanding. That I'm not even going to get into that. That's another conversation. I'm not going to go there because it's like you're still trying to understand and whatever. But look, my point to this incremental science 29 is to understand the principles of how the shadow or your shadow, because it's the unseen, is connected to what you can't see, in the same retrospect to what shine on you illuminates the value of what you can see. That's why his back is turned to the universe that would be on the unseen. So it's reflection. But the reflection sees it all. Have you ever sat there at night and did that before? Sat in a reflection and watched how the reflection on the water shows you the sky, and you start seeing more of the sky than you thought you could see from what you was looking at? Because, yeah, it's deep like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go out to the river sometimes and I stand over the water and I look at the water early in the morning, and I see the reflection. It's like it's the same, but it's different because the reflection shines farther. You know what I'm saying? So you get to see more on the reflection sometimes. It's just dope like that. So this is why I actually made this image in that aspect. You don't know how deep to go in, and I've been trying this little meditation, like walking with it and actually focusing on my shadow right directly in front of me with the sun behind me. So weird things been taking place, yo. It's like that's the way you probably should have been doing it for, like, meditating for all these years. So yeah, you already know the vibes. It's very interesting. I implore you to do it yourself. But knowing that your universe is connected through your shadow, it's because you can't see it, and it keeps going in a circle like this. As your reflection, everything is reflected, so it keeps spinning like this. And it's the same way as your hemispheres of your brain. You can go from your male to your female hemisphere of the brain, depending on what you need to handle people, depending on how you feel you need to handle people. You can do that. You know what I'm saying? That's an understanding. This is why it's imperative to understand. If you're a male, understand the female principle. If you're a woman, understand the male principle and bring balance in that for your thought pattern. I ain't gonna hold you. Naga.